Good little pregame as we now hit the game, this show, the Maize and Blue Review. A football Friday, along with former Wolverine Jerry Diorio. I'm Dennis Fithian, and we're ready to go for week number 3. Michigan taking on Arkansas State. It's great to see you, Jerry. How are you?
Great to be a Michigan Wolverine, Denny, but I will say this, my condolences out to the Harden family. I guess Mike passed away this morning due to complications of a surgery. And I saw Mike Saturday at the game. Mike and I have – I'm sorry?
You're talking about Greg Harden?
Or was it Greg Harden? Yes, my bad. My bad. Yep. And he was DB at he was DB at Michigan, correct?
He was a counselor. I don't know his exact title.
Okay. I thought he played DB at Michigan a long time ago.
I don't know about that. I don't remember that.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to shout out there.
There was a Tom Harden that did play defensive back. This is Greg Harden, who was a counselor at Michigan for a very long time. And I remember seeing Greg Harden the first time I was ever in the Michigan press box, and every athlete that I ever came across, they would all mention Greg Harden. They all loved Greg Harden. They all considered Greg Harden like a family member, and he touched many lives. However he did it, he had a book that just came out last year, and I went through it. He's like a self-help guru.
Yep.
It was kind of like having, your own Tony Robbins right in your back pocket. There is the way that he went about it. He had a different approach than everybody has their different approaches when they come to self-help, but he was a real one, and you could tell by the way that he affected all the athletes down.
There's so many people spoke so highly of him. All the kids, the student athletes, and they spoke so highly about his guidance and his influence and his leadership, and he's going to be surely missed.
Yeah, I read this book yesterday. Last year when it came out. One of the parts that jumped out to me is when he said that, Bo had asked him to come in to talk to the team. And he said that he went into Bo and he said, Bo, I'll talk to the team, but you're not going to be able to be in there with me. And he said, Bo was like, what? And he said, I got to talk to these guys, and that's the way I'm going to connect with them. So when you introduce me, I'm going to ask to, for you to be excused. And Bo, he said, he was a little bit reluctant, however it was there, but he said Bo completely understood. He said it made a huge effect when he was standing out in front of the team when Bo said he's going to talk with you. Then he said, Bo, you're going to have to, leave the room, and I need the room. And he said it was pretty powerful. So,
Denny, he's pretty good when Bo Schembechler leaves a team meeting room.
You know that, and you've got from Tom Brady to Desmond Howard to the great swimmer in Phelps, all of those guys, and probably another dozen testimonials about the athletes that went on and worked through different things in their lives. So, condolences to the Harden family for a guy that touched many athletes at Michigan in a great way. So we have to talk about Michigan and this upcoming game tomorrow, and we will do that. We'll get some predictions on the game tomorrow. We are going to look at some film of last week. And Arkansas State, this is one of those games that's not going to have a lot of buzz, but last week had a lot of buzz, and we saw what happened. So really, Jerry, I'll just ask you, what do you want to see from Michigan tomorrow after their loss to Texas last week? Is there anything that you would identify that you're looking for?
Yeah, I want to see a much more disciplined team, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Way too many turnovers for us. Penalties hurting us a little bit. And I just want us to see us I think we're way out of position way too many times. And I just want to see us play a lot more disciplined football. We have another very capable, talented quarterback that can run and pass. I mean, he's leading this team in scoring, and I believe he's leading the team in rushing and passing. So we've got a dual threat to work on tomorrow as well. I'm looking for Michigan to come back and play the way I've seen Michigan play the last 3 years. Disciplined, gap integrity on defense, moving the ball on offense, efficient offensively, swarming to the ball defensively, in position. Those are the things I'm looking for. Very concerned about what I saw on Saturday.
I agree with you, and I also agree with what you're looking for tomorrow, talking about a sound defense that looks like they're in position, rallying to the ball and playing with a lot of energy. That's almost given. They're going to have to wait till next week for the fans to take a look at him and say that that last week was an aberration. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. No, Denny, when we're going to look at the film, and there were times that I thought, we were a couple plays away, and that game could have been different. At the same time, I saw way too many things open and not open for us in the game, and I got to put that on the coaches.
Yeah, I would too, and I think that I've seen teams before run into buzzsaws, and in college football has never been more like pro football now in a lot of ways, and this year with a 12-team playoff, you can absorb a big-time loss where you look terrible if you're improving. So all is not lost that way. When you see a team get smacked upside the head like Michigan did, you feel like how you felt over the last 50 years when Michigan would lose a game, like the season's all over, and it feels like that. They can get right back up, go through tomorrow, get ready for USC, and then come out on top. And then, you feel like you're back. I think they will feel like they're back. But I would, on offense, like to see them. I would start with the offensive line. Look like an offensive line you mentioned last year that's coming off the ball, that's pass protecting. It's keep getting their quarterback in a down and distance situation where he can do some things. And I want to see a quarterback stand in there, not throwing off his back foot, not rolling out with a hard jump stop and firing the. I want to see a guy in the pocket, delivering the ball to open wide receivers, and then moving the ball down the field and scoring, and accompanying that, complementary footballs, like you coaches like to say. I'd like to see complementary offense. I'd like to see complementary defense. I'd like to see a nice complementary game to get Michigan back and ready to go against USC. That's what I'm looking.
Denny, everything is still in front of us. There's no reason to completely panic. My concern is I hope we're identifying where the problems are and what we're doing wrong, and we change this immediately. This is the kind of game, Denny, that we're going to see our team. I want to see our team unite this week. I really do. Because if we don't, if there's some kind of, because this is where splits happen between players and coaching staffs. This is the kind of thing that splits teams and breaks good teams up. That's the other thing I want to see. I want to see our team tomorrow play with a unity, play with an urgency, a togetherness. I want to see that our team is not splintered at this point in time, because we do have so much more of the season to go and get ahead of this and get back in the race and get back in the playoff picture. That's the other thing I want to see. Let's not forget, Texas is a defending playoff team from last year. They have probably the number one pick at quarterback this year going into the draft. They're a good football team. Their offensive line was much better than I thought they were going to be. And not that I didn't think they were going to be good, because they had, four starters returning. Four of the five linemen were returning. My problem was they were playing with the third, fourth, and fifth running backs at time and really shredding us in the run game. And that was very, very disappointing to me to see that. And we're going to go over some of those things where we got a problem and we got to fix this, and we got to kind of get back to our roots.
Yeah.
Basic fundamentals.
When you say change, and you just explain some of the change that you wanted to see, and I talked about it a little bit. I don't know about personnel changes and what they plan on doing, if they're going to go with this guy and how the week of practice went and all of that. But for me, I go back to the beginning of game week. So the Monday before they started this season out against Fresno State. I think that they need to pick the players that they're going with, and they need to sink or swim with them. They went into this season. We don't know what's going on at quarterback. The competition's going into game week. We don't know what's going on at center. We're going to play a couple different guys. Maybe the same thing at right tackle. We're going to swap out the entire secondary. That was a red flag to me. Whatever, that's the way they decided to do it. And I don't know if that's what ultimately, maybe they would have got beat anyways. But now I would like to see, if it is going to be Davis Warren, I want to see Davis Warren the whole time until the game is out of reach either way. That's what I would like to see. And I'd like to see this, nothing against Orgy or Tuttle if he's ready, or Jaden Davis or Denegal or any of them. It's about getting the quarterback the confidence. This team, if they are going to turn some things around or settle back in, however it's going to go, it's going to be with a quarterback that has confidence in himself and his team, and they can rally around him. And if it's, if they can rally around the offensive line, whatever it's going to be. But if you're talking about inserting a guy here, or let's give a guy a series, I'm totally against that, Jerry. I would like to just see Warren. It not only is going to help him for his confidence tomorrow, but then it gives him a whole game where then he knows it's his spot, it's his team, so to speak, heading into the game against USC, which now becomes this gigantic game. I don't think it sounds like fanish or something. They can't play games anymore. They pick a guy, pick a unit, let's sink or swim with these guys. Things happen where you have to replace players and things like that. But I just want them to pick. I just want them to pick the starters and go with it. No more playing around. Is that crazy?
Well, no, I don't think it's crazy. I think a lot of people would agree with you, Denny. Lou Holtz always used to say, "You got two quarterbacks, you got no quarterbacks." That was the way Lou Holtz used to say it, and he also used to say, "You'll never see my quarterback throw 4 interceptions because I'll pull him after 3." So, I understand what you're saying. I'm going to get back to that sub though. Here's the deal, Denny. Our defense, in my opinion, was great for the last 3 years because of its freshness and because of its rotation. We had 4 defensive linemen for 2 positions, 4 edge players for 2 positions, 4 Mike linebackers or Mike Will linebackers inside for 2 positions. That's a rotation I want to see more of. What we're doing on defense with this 3 down, 3 linemen, hand in the ground defensive front with the 2 edge outside. Now all of a sudden you went from replacing 2 defensive linemen. Now all you need is 4, to replacing 3 offensive linemen, which now all of a sudden you need 6. And we're going to show you that on the film. That to me is tremendously different than what I've seen the last 2-3 years under Minner and McDonald. I think we're playing a lot more 3 down lineman sets, 5 across the line, and that does not give you an opportunity to see what's going on at a second level with three people as opposed to 2 people. So that's something that's got to be addressed. I mean, if we're going to be this 5-3 or a 5-2 defense, we better get these guys all buy in, because I don't know if they're buying in with this. I think we're losing rotation on certain positions, and you're going to see great effort. There's no question about it. Our kids gave great effort at times, a lot of great effort. And a lot of guys that were getting blamed for things, I thought played pretty decent. But we were out of position many times on defense, misaligned, and I never thought I'd see that defense shredded on the ground like it was.
Yeah, well, it's odd to me. I have to explain myself a little bit more. Defensive line, I like the idea of being able to rotate players in and keep them fresh. That's always been.
I always had success with it.
Yeah,
I
it
love
always sounds like a mark of a good team. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. I would like to see that. It makes me feel like they don't trust the guys that are behind the starters. But it was the Fresno State game where they took out the whole secondary, and Will Johnson, there, that was getting a little cute to me. I think with a corner and DBs, I don't know how much you need to rotate those guys out. So that was one thing, and I've always thought that an offensive line, it takes time. That's why I was worried about the Texas game. It takes time for an offensive line to gel.
There were times, Denny, we had lots of gaping holes in there running the ball. I mean, that offensive line, we had some pass breakdowns. We've got some issues. We got a couple players that might not be ready right now on the offensive line. And, we'll see that a little bit. But really, I thought we creased them a couple times in there, and Donovan had a nice run. We moved the ball a little bit on them, but then we'd stub our toe. And, we're sitting there 17-3 with the ball under a minute left or a minute left, something like that. We're sitting there 3rd and 12. We hit Loveland over the middle. I think he gets the first down, and he fumbles. And so those are the kinds of things that are happening right now that great teams, that doesn't happen to great teams.
No, it doesn't even happen to good teams, Jerry. That was a first half that goes down to on both sides of the ball, and self-implosion, coaching. I mean, everything there. So yeah, I mean, burning that tape, not walking through anything. People say, well, the turnovers, those weren't good. Running orgy straight up the middle with a fullback right next to him on a 3rd and 3. That wasn't any good.
That was as ugly as I've seen. Yeah. I mean, when you got orgy in the backfield, you got a lot of options. You really do. You really have a lot of options. Then you move Edwards in motion. You just took away basically 2 of his 3 options right there. And I just that play smelled from the beginning. And we're going to go over that one. I'm going to show you where I think bad technique was the blame on that play. So, when we get to the film, we're going to show you some things.
Yeah, Johnny makes a point that Warren played the whole Texas game. He played every snap except the most important one. And that was the 3rd and 3 when Michigan finally, their only drive, not the second half, they scored, but when the game was in doubt, that second possession, when they threw the flea flicker, they got into the red zone, they had a 3rd down.
Yeah.
They decided to take him out. So it was was just one play, but it was like he was in there for a bunch of different plays. And that broke, to me, the psyche of everybody in the stadium, including that quarterback and that whole offense when Orgy got stuffed there. But that's just me looking at him. They wanted to have him in the short yardage situation. You understand that. I'm talking about for tomorrow now. If they ask me, if I was somehow in a meeting room, they said, what guys, they don't need to scramble. They need to make sound decisions. But if they said, hey, what do you think? I would say, let's just pick one guy and go with it, because we need all of the confidence that we can heading into not only tomorrow, but for the USC game. So no Orgy for a whole series, no Tuttle for a couple plays in the first half. No. Let's just play football with the guys that we picked that are going to go out there at quarterback and on the offensive line.
David Van Reenen mentions that the guard missed his block. And David, we're going to point that out. We have been, even back when I played, we used to watch Jerome Foster at USC, and we used to get way deep on our pools, and we would actually step with our opposite foot. So it was almost a crossover, so we could get some depth around any penetration and get up on linebackers. We've been doing that for decades. In the last few seasons, now I think we got away with Zenner and what the heck is the other guard's name that we had last year. I thought we got away with the technique because we had really good personnel. Saturday, we had average personnel, and we could not get away with that technique. And that's why our offensive guard missed his block. He really ran into a pile and didn't get deep enough to get around for that block. So we're going to take a look at that, and I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Jerry, I want you to give us a prediction on the game, but I want you to answer this question first. It's from Ty, who says, we have seen enough of Warren. It's time to give someone else a chance. What do you think of that question?
I don't see that I don't know if we've seen enough of Warren yet. We played a pretty decent Texas defense. 2 picks, wasn't good. He did throw for over 200 yards from what I see. 22 of 33 for 204. That's 66% completion. What is that per attempt? That's probably about 5.5, 6 yards per attempt. That's not good. That should be up around 7, 6.5, 7. And the 1 TD and the 2 interceptions. The 1 interception, I don't know if that was his fault or not. Loveland's running with his back and he's throwing the ball. That was a bad play. And the other one was a tip. And we're going to show you that one. There's 5 guys at 4 yards, and they got there's 4 receivers at 5 yards, and they got 5 and 6 guys covering them. And there's nowhere to throw the ball. There's just absolutely nowhere to throw the ball. We're not designing anything to go downfield. We're not taking DBs out of areas like Texas did to us all day Saturday. I mean, they're running flats and crosses all day wide open, and it's only because they're vacating areas and hitting where the vacation is.
Jerry, let me ask you one more. I said that was going to be the final question before I get to a prediction, but I listened to you talk, and it makes me think of other things. Heading into the Texas game, I saw Urban Meyer on the Big Ten Network, and he was up at the whiteboard, and he was saying, this is going to be tough for Texas because Michigan has Davis Warren, who's a pocket passer, and all the things that he does. Now they need to prepare for Alex Orji, which is completely different, and it's all RPOs. So it's 2 separate offenses that they have to deal with. Michigan went into not only after spring and the summer phase, in the fall camp, with 2 offenses and 2 quarterbacks that they were making a decision. Are we going to go with a pocket passer and Davis Warren? Are we going full out RPO, run the ball almost every time with Alex Orji? They couldn't make a decision into fall camp. It went into game week, as we all know, and then they made the call for Warren. My point here is that seems to be a lot to ask an offense to do, depending on who the quarterback is. 2 separate systems. They didn't know until just days before the opener. Are we going with a traditional, pocket passer, or are we going with an all-out run? That's difficult, I would think, for an offense. And no, they barely used Orji. You can make the argument, but they still had to practice for all that other stuff. Shouldn't they have? My question to you is: shouldn't they have made that decision a lot earlier to give the team a chance to know what they're doing and to practice what they wanted to do?
Well, Denny, you remember me all spring long, I said, you're going to have 2 playbooks at Michigan. And I mean well-defined and diagrammed playbooks. You're going to have one for Orji and then one for your drop-back passer. That's not hard to do, but it has been done. And Urban Meyer knows how to do it because he did it with Tebow and Link. So, I mean, it can be done. What you're going to see in the Orji package, however, is we're not doing things fundamentally right. We are fundamentally not doing things right for the package they want to try to run for Orji. And that's what I'm going to show you in the film. Either they've got to come up with better footing and better techniques, or they better just go with Davis Warren or try the youngster in there a little bit and start start playing with him a little bit more.
All right, time for predictions. Keegan and somebody else mentioned the offensive lineman that you were talking about, Trevor Keegan.
Trevor Keegan, there you go.
You're talking about. This is Keegan who was weighing in here. All right, that gets us to tomorrow. There they are, the Red Wolves of Jonesboro, Arkansas. They're coming up. They'll be in the big house tomorrow. Jerry, how do you see the game?
Well, first of all, they're going to come in sky high. These kids have been looked down upon their whole lives, been told they're not good enough to go to Arkansas. They're not good enough to play in the SEC. They're not good enough to play at Michigan or the Big Ten. So these kids are coming into this game ready to show everybody that they can play, and they can play with the best of the best. So they're going to come in sky high. They have a good quarterback. Butch Jones, a hell of a coach. He knows how to run an offense as well as anybody out there. Very good coach. And they're gonna and we're gonna have to stop their quarterback and establish our offense and shut them down immediately, because if we let them hang around, Northern Illinois just beat in Notre Dame in South Bend. So this is a more important game than we're looking at.
Yeah, I think if I'm just looking at, it's back to the basics for the offense, where I think they really need to work on. It's like this for every quarterback. You say, well, how can you get a young quarterback and get him to have some success? You get him in front of the chains. You get him some down and distances that he can work with, and obviously not turning over the ball. They want to roll him out a little bit, however they want to do that. I made my point. Not everybody agrees that they should stick with one quarterback until the game's out of reach. The defense, they just need to go out there and play a sound game, because they have to. Everybody's going to wait till next week until they play USC to see if last week was an aberration or not.
Danny, everybody's talking about the quarterback. Okay, fine.
Yep.
Fine. But we got a lot more issues than the quarterback right now. After watching that film, we got a tremendous amount of other issues right now other than quarterback. Our quarterback, we knew. First of all, he's our second quarterback. We thought we were going to go with Tuttle. Everybody thought Tuttle was the guy. Tuttle gets hurt. Now, all of a sudden, we got a quarterback battle that we weren't anticipating, or it seems like we weren't anticipating that. So now we have Davis Warren leading this team. Coaching staff knows that. The coaching staff knows that they're they're behind the eight ball with that quarterback. That's all the more reason to solidify everything else, and that's not being done. We have a lot of problems at a lot of different places, and problems where we didn't think we were even thought about having problems. We got more problems than just the quarterback. Okay,
I hear you on that. So I picked a 35-10 score. That's what I ended up coming down with. I do want to remind everybody right before we go to the film that, and Jerry, you got to put your screen up because I don't see it there. It was there.
Oh, you got it, Denny. I'm looking forward to this.
Okay, so get that screen up while I tell everybody that we would like to see you. We have been discussing all of this that Jerry and I have just discussed for the last 29 minutes, all day and all night over on the Maize and Blue Review on the Den. And you can get involved over there easily. It's by joining the Maize and Blue Review. You can get full access today. Go to michigan.rivals.com. We want to see you over there. And as mentioned, if you are not a subscriber to this podcast, we are only a few away to getting to 5,000. And when we get to 5,000, I will open the treasure trove of the party and give you the details of where we're going to meet up and have this celebration for the Michigan fans. So I would love to see if we could get that going by the USC game. Certainly Michigan's first road game. Hey, I could go out. We could watch the road game together. Get the 5,000. If you have a Michigan, if you are already subscribed and you know somebody that's a Michigan fan, say subscribe so we can get to this party and watch the Michigan-Washington game out on the road together with the Maize and Blue review. That would be a lot of fun. All right, Jerry, here it is, the film. It's up there, and we're ready for you to walk through what we saw this past Saturday and get your impressions. You look like you got us right here on the first series.
First big play of the game, 3rd and 13. This should never happen. This should never happen to what is potentially one of the best talented defenses in the country. This should never happen. You can say all you want, we're not blitzing, but having 6 guys up on the line of scrimmage showing blitz gets people out of position. And this happened all day long. Mason Graham playing out of position. Mason Graham is not a 5 technique. Mason Graham is a 3 technique. There's a big difference between that and where he's lined up.
Why is he there, Jerry? This was a wrinkle? A winkle? Maybe I should call it not a wrinkle, a winkle?
Josiah Stewart playing out of position. Instead of being the edge right on the 5, he's way outside here. You see that?
Yeah.
Ernest Hausman out of position. He's here instead of in his Mike spot. I mean, this is 3rd and 13, Denny. There's no – if you're going to come. If you're going to want him to throw the ball fast and get it out of his hands quick, come. But there's no reason to show this back out and let this play happen like this. This is an abomination to me on 3rd and 13 in one of the biggest games of the season. Number 2, why is he always on – it seems like he's always on our sideline. You're going to see later on in this game where there's no receivers on this sideline in the second quarter, and Will Johnson, the best cornerback in the country, is coming off the edge with no receivers. Meanwhile, we have a new cornerback sitting one-on-one with somebody that was in the Rose Bowl last year with no help. Look at the help over here. Page is out of position to help over here. You're thinking about dropping linebackers to try to help him out. It ain't happening. Let's play it. Boom. Now we're going to ask Kenneth Grant to play way out of position to cover a back out or something. Okay? I don't think he was recruited to cover passes. I don't think that. I think he was recruited to put pressure on the quarterback. But he's dropping. So, in my opinion, him and Page are out of position big time. Page is almost not playing at all. And Grant in this position is like playing 11 on 10. He is helping nothing. Watch the play develop. What's he end up doing? Nothing. Does Kenneth Graham do us any good in that position?
No.
Look at all the bodies covering 2 over here with the number 1 cornerback in the country. Meanwhile, over here, no help.
You think Page should have been on that far hash to start this play? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that this guy doesn't need as much help as this guy.
Yeah, all right. That makes sense to me, Jerry. That makes sense to me.
Okay? To me, I don't know why I'm playing way the hell over here when this guy's on an island. That's putting that kid in a bad position. That's making him be put in a position to fail. That's not good. It's not sound. I don't care what anybody says. Putting 6 guys up on the line and asking a 325-pound guy to drop back in pass coverage is unsound to me. That doesn't make too much sense. Third and 13. One of the best defenses in the country gets torched. First series of the game. Not good. And that's all they needed right there. That little bit right there, that's their confidence now. They know they can play with the one of the top teams in the country, one of the top defenses in the country. Here we go. 6 up, and we're outflanked. Look at this. Six coming. Look what we're asking Houseman to do. We're asking Houseman to get out here on this screen, and we're sending everybody else off the edge, including our safety. You see it? You see that guy, Denny?
Yeah.
That's a safety. That's not a lineman or anything else. We're sending safeties and dropping linemen way too many times. Now we're asking Houseman to get out here on this screen. He has no chance to get out there. Look at him. He's double, triple blocked out there. Now, is it effort? Or are our kids not giving effort? Watch Mason Graham. Watch Mason Graham. That's great effort. I don't think it's our kids not giving effort. I think our kids are out of freaking position. That's what I think. 7 up, 4 coming, including a safety. Now, I think we recruit safeties to cover passes. I think we recruit defensive linemen to rush the passer. Sorry, this is not sound. Consistently like this. Linebackers get deep drops. Considering their start, look where we're at. These linebackers, it's 3rd and 7. These guys got to get way back here. So they're running with their back to the ball to get into position. Now they got to come up. In the meantime, Quinn Ewers, who is a very mobile quarterback, is one-on-one with a linebacker. By the time these linebackers are hunting down receivers and trying to figure out where the zone is and where the receivers are coming from, Quinn Ewers is one-on-one with a freaking linebacker. He's going to win that battle every time. That's not good. That's not sound. That's not something I saw the last 3 years. Now, those are not things I saw the last 3 years. First down. That's your, what is that? That's your second, 3rd down pickup. Now, let's think about this, Denny. We just gave them 20 yards on a 3rd and 13. No, more than that, because they got more than that to get the first down. We gave up a 3rd and 13 and a 3rd and 7. Not good. Not a good, sound defense.
That was a nice play.
What's that? Yeah, that's a good play by Moore.
Good position.
All right. Now, Denny, everybody was yelling and holding, including me, up in the bleachers, because I was right around this marker right here at the game. So I'm yelling, that's holding. The more I looked at this play, I think we got away with one. That's a questionable call because Rashawn Benny is playing out of position. He's not playing a three technique like normally. He's playing a 7 technique. So we're asking him to contain the quarterback. That's not what he usually does. He's been playing for the last 3 years in that 3 technique and doing that job very well. Okay. Now we're asking him to do something else. Remember, Denny, last week we saw Loveland split out at number 1?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Here's their tight end split out at number 1. I didn't see Loveland split out one time at number 1. I didn't see them stretch with Loveland one time during that game. So that was questionable to me. Why are we getting away from things that work for us?
I think they went in reverse with Loveland. They had his hand on the ground, and they were making him an H-back. You know, he was blocking a lot.
Right. Okay. Yeah. TJ Guy is an edge player. He usually rushes. Now, I know edge players can drop, but this is like the 2nd or 3rd time. He didn't play that many snaps that I saw him dropping in crucial situations when he should have been pass rushing, in my opinion. Okay? And here's Johnson again, way away from where the ball is going to go.
Yeah, this is where Quinn Ewers looks like John Elway.
I don't know if that's holding or not. I don't know if that's holding or not. But this is concerning. There's two guys in that area, and we got one guy covering it. How in the heck does that happen? How in the heck do they get two guys behind our defense like that? You know how that happens, Denny? Our kids are confused. Our kids are playing confused. You're going to see it time and time again where we're out of position playing confused. I think we gifted one there. I think we got gifted one there. Okay, here's our base, Denny. This is not what I remember from Mentor and McDonald. 5 up. The reason I really don't like this defense like that is because this guy can't see anything from this position. Being back here is a lot better position for him to see what's going on the defense. We don't need to have an inside guy and an outside guy at this tackle. That, to me, is not sound. We don't need to have that, okay? Our base, 5 up, 3 down, 2 me, and this is what I'm talking about. Now, all of a sudden, 1, 2, 3. Now we need 6 replacements to get any kind of defensive rotation as opposed to 4 rotation. Now Benny is one of the starters instead of in that rotation with Graham, and Benny, 3 for 2 positions. And the other guys, we're going to show you the other guys. They weren't all that bad. But here we go. We're coming out. We're coming. Look where the ball's thrown. And they saw this and they knew it. You could sit there and say, this is where TJ Guy is. He's coming, right?
Yeah.
He's coming. Okay. Here's where our an outside linebacker should have been. We need TJ Guy, but we don't need all this rush coming. We need to protect the flats and the crosses. Outside linebacker would have picked this up. He would have seen this coming. Okay. From this depth over here. But when he's up here and rushing, there's no way. Think about this, Denny. You can sit there and say this game of inches all you want. But this ball got deflected, and they still picked up a first down, big yards. That's how out of position we are. That tight end killed us all day long. Here's Big Grant blocking the pass, and we're so out of position, they can still catch the ball and get a first down. That's not sound football, in my opinion. Getting first downs. Finally, this is something I recognize. 4 up. This is the Mentor McDonald 4 up, but I don't understand 4 linebackers like this. We always had 2 deep, right? With the corners out here, okay? So that was a little bit worrisome, but I could see this. You got your 3 in here, okay? The problem isn't there. The problem is here.
Woo!
Confused when we play zone. Whenever we play zone, we are confused on who has what. We don't know how to pass off. Remember last year, Denny, I showed you that Palms coverage?
Oh, they were good at that.
Hadn't seen it all year this year. Hadn't seen it once all year this year. That Palms coverage got us big plays against Ohio State, an interception for a touchdown against Minnesota, and just scared of the you knew you couldn't throw flats and crosses against our defense last year. That was not going to happen too often. But that's just confusion. That is just confusion. Right here, we're going to look at this kid. What is he doing? What is Hill doing? This is something you see in high school when you're that confused.
He thought it was.
You're not totally in. You got too much to think about to let that be open that well. That's not good defense.
It's good route running. Sark put the stress right on where you have to make that decision. You know, you stutter for 1 second and
that's it. And especially with that guy. Especially with that guy throwing. Okay, so here we have a little pin and pull. Good call. Get the first down. 2nd and 4. Let's not take any chances. And you know what, Denny? I said this, that we're going to be in favorable 2nd downs because I think our run game is good. I think it can be very effective. And I think our offensive line will be a much better run team than a pass protection team because it's a lot harder to pass protect. When you run the ball, it's a lot easier to get double teams and get movement and that kind of thing and pick up things. And it's harder for teams to blitz you too, by the way, when you run the ball. But this is a good sound decision. This pin and pull. Big El Hadi gets out there in front. Gets a pretty nice block. Here we have Mullins out there leading. And it's a pretty good ball play. Pretty good ball play. All right, so we got the first down. Now we got something going. Okay, good. Nice play design. Flea flicker. This is out of the hardball playbook. We've seen this many a time. I haven't seen a reverse yet this year. That's a little bit concerning to me. We haven't seen any reverses this year out of Michigan. But we got this little flea flicker. Bring the linebackers up. They know we're a big run team, so they're coming up anyways. And then we just throw the ball right behind them. Beautiful, great job getting open by our young man from Youngstown State. Who is that? Chris? What's his name again?
CJ Charleston.
Charleston. Here you go. Okay. Watch this pocket. Bad offensive lines don't give you this kind of pocket to throw with. Look at all that space he has to step up and throw behind. And this is a long developing play. This is not an easy play to protect. So this is a great job by offensive line. Great job by Warren. You know, again, here we go. We're talking about how bad Warren was. 22 of 33, 204 yards, 6.2 average, 1 TD and 2 interceptions. But that's a good throw. Good job. This is real difficult to do. You're asking your center to snap the ball, shotgun, pull out, and trap at the point of attack. Very difficult to do, and I think Gadis does a real nice job getting that kick out. Gets a bounce a little bit, but I think that's expected the way he's for what you're asking him to do. Donovan Edwards has had great eyes his whole career, and he does these kinds of things all the time. If they miss this play, I think he's gone. But great vision by Donovan. We got El Hadi on the backside, Link on the backside, doing a pretty good job cutting everything off. We got movement on that 5 technique. Our tight end gets up on a block, or our big tackle gets up. Nice design, good play, great. And I'm thinking to myself, well, gosh darn it, man. We just talked about how we responded to Fresno State. Here we go again. We're going to respond again. Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't saying gosh darn it, but I was thinking the same thing. I thought that was going to be a touchdown. It was close to being a touchdown.
Okay, here we go. The orgy package. First of all, by moving Donovan Edwards in motion does nothing except tell the defense you don't have a read option to worry about. That's not sound. You got Orgy in here because he's a good complement to your running game with the number 1 running back. If you fake to him either side and lead with Bredesen on the other side, now you got people scared. But when you do this kind of stuff, look at this corner. This corner is probably sitting there laughing. I wonder what they're going to run. They're not going to throw the ball. Orgy hasn't thrown the ball in 2 years. Okay? Everybody knows what they're going to run. They're running around some kind of quarterback up the gut, up the middle. Now, what's really discouraging is we get stuffed at the line of scrimmage. I think if we get 2 or 2.5 yards, we're thinking about going for it and continuing this drive.
Right.
But when we get no yards, now we got to kick the field goal. Now, I'm not blaming Al Hadid, but this is poor technique in my opinion.
Too
What
upright?
we used to, huh?
He's too upright, or
He look at how his shoulders are perpendicular to the line of scrimmage. You see that,
Yeah.
Denny? They're
Yeah.
not parallel. They're not square to the line of scrimmage. So he can't pick this up. Number one. Number two, he's too tight to the line of scrimmage. The way we used to do this, Denny, watch his first step. That's not the first step we used to take. What we used to do was take this back step and get back here. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
By doing that, now I get all this junk in front of me. I can get around it. But by pulling flat down the line like this, last year we got away with it with Keegan, with Zinner. But we're not getting away with it this year. These guys are not experienced at that. Okay? So what does he do? And I'm not blaming him as much as I'm blaming the technique that's being taught. I don't like that technique. You're not giving your offensive guard enough room to get around any kind of penetration. If there's any kind of penetration, this play is dead. And it is, because there is some penetration. Boom. He runs right into Hinton. And there's his linebacker. This is his linebacker, Denny. This is Al Hadid's linebacker right here. This is who he should have been picking up. And what happens? He pulls flat down the line, runs into the back of Hinton, and this play is stuffed. Watch it. You see it? And lastly, Orgy, in this position, you're a running back. Like Donovan Edwards, you got to be patient and let your blockers set up a little bit. Okay? He hits the hole right now before his guard gets around the hole. There could be a hole here because we get a great kick out by Bredesen. If our guard gets around on this linebacker, Loveland's up on that linebacker, we got to play. We got to play. But poor technique by the guard, penetration, play is done. And not being patient as a running back, the play is done. No gain, no decision. Kick the field goal. That's not good. That's not Michigan football. When has Michigan football been known for getting stuffed on 3rd and 3 and not gaining a yard? Not gaining 1 yard. That's not good, sound football. So we kick a field goal, and there we are. Okay, here we are. Sky coverage. Let's go right back to the beginning. Here we are. We're 4 up. Again, I don't think Big Brant it was recruited to drop off in pass coverage. Okay? I don't think, and this ain't the first time he's doing it. Okay, this is what is known as sky coverage. Basically, it's 3 deep in the corner. You see everybody bailing on this, Denny? Johnson, by the way, Johnson's on the sideline again, on our sideline again. I didn't see him line up until the reverse on this side. But here we are, 3 deep, 4 under. Now, what's supposed to happen on Sky? These two are supposed to exchange responsibilities. Page is supposed to get here on the flat. The linebacker is supposed to reroute anything here and then get into the hook curl. What's he doing? He's looking over here. Again, confused. Why is he looking over here? Maybe because he doesn't know if Brett or Brant can get any kind of collision on number 3 here. Linebacker is supposed to drop, or the outside is supposed to drop. We should be in pretty good, decent shape. But because we don't get here and we don't get here, and we're bringing a linebacker off the edge and dropping a defensive lineman, they pick up a big play. And why all of a sudden don't we know how to tackle?
Yeah, I didn't like this play.
All of a sudden, we don't tackle very well as Michigan football team. I don't understand that. He comes right under Page, and I got to believe it's Page not knowing where his help is coming from. Okay? This is the play that really upset me the most on defense, Denny.
This one, okay, let's see.
Number 2. Why am I upset?
Well, they're just leaving him
over here.
They're just leaving him on one side of the field. You would be matching up. You'd have him matching up.
He's going to be over here with the receiver somewhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere. I mean, I'm not going to waste the best cornerback in the country on a no receiver side. Doesn't make any sense. Okay?
Did they flip him last year, or did they always have him on the one
I
side?
always remember him going with frickin' Harrison or any frickin' receiver that could beat us.
They did. He did foul. He shadowed Harrison. Good point.
Every frickin' where he went, he was right with them. Okay? Now, here's the other thing. I don't know how well we know how to play base, because in my base defenses, I like to read guards. Okay? Because guards usually take you to the play. They pull. They do the things that I need as a linebacker to know where the play is going. So I typically like to read guards. But it's hard to read guards when we're coming all the time. Okay? He should be over here with a read. But because he's blitzing, he's over here. Now let's look at what happens to the play. And by the way, these are real good punches. Look at Graham's punch. I think this is Etta. I think this is Brandt. Brandt. These are decent punches. Good punch, good punch. Good fight, good spill right here by Houseman. But we have nothing coming from the other side to make the play. Watch. Everything's bottled up inside. They kick out Houseman and pick up almost 10 yards on 1st and 10.
Houseman had to make that play.
Houseman is not going to make that play, Denny. Houseman is not going to make that play. This is the guy who should be making this play. This guy right here should be making this play. Houseman's spilling it in, thinking he's got help.
Yeah. All right.
Okay? His guard pulled. You see that, Denny? Guard tackle pulled. Why wouldn't you be over here unless you're blitzing? And so now we got Makari Page, Rolton, Johnson, Guy, everybody on this side of the ball, and they're running over here. I'll tell you what, I like that punch by Brandt right there. I think he does a pretty decent job. Now, you can sit there and say he's got to make that play because with this free arm and stuff. That's a tough play to make. You need people around you to help you make that play. Look at Grant. Grant's taking on taking on a double team, fighting over the top, getting held just a step too slow. But he shouldn't be expected to make that play out there. I think you can agree with that, right, Denny?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. 30, Jimmy Rolder. Somebody was asking. That is Jimmy Rolder.
Rolder, yeah. That's Jimmy Rolder. Now, this is not Jimmy's fault. This is not Rolder's fault. He's told blitz when his key in a base defense takes him right over here to where the counter is. Make sense, Denny?
Yeah.
Okay. Remember, this is their 3rd, 4th, and 5th running back that's doing this to us. That's who's doing that to us. That's who outrushed us. Their 3rd and 4th running backs.
Thanks. Thanks for the reminder.
Okay, so here we go. Unsound and very discouraging. Look at that gap on the left side. You see that, Denny?
I do see it. You could drive a truck through there.
Now, if that's the case and you're baiting people to come over here, great. Wouldn't I send my nose guard over this way? My answer is yes. Obviously, we don't have enough people on this side of the ball. So, yes, I'm going to take my nose guard this way. Okay? What do? We send the nose guard opposite. They pick that up with the guard, and the center gets up on a linebacker. Now we've got Moore, number 8. What's he weigh? What, 250, Denny?
I would think a little bit more, but
Barry, Zeke, what's he weigh? 200, 215?
Maybe.
Huh?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Now, these two guys, I'll bet you are close to 700 pounds combined. I don't think that's a real fair position to be in. Let's take a look. Center gets up on a linebacker. What number is that, Denny? That's number 26. That's their fourth running back. Look at what their linemen are doing to these two poor guys out here. They're killing them. They're killing them. That's not good defense. That's not sound. That's not sound alignment. That's being cute and not playing base solid. The alignment I saw for the last 3 years, 3 under, 2 deep, and I don't care that they're an empty. I really don't care that they're an empty. This is the alignment I would have saw with a back in there anyways, okay? This is the alignment that I saw for the last 3 years. Sound alignment. And this is one other thing I'm going to say. Denny, remember when we used to do this a lot and it would cause people cause them to go crazy? We'd take the tackle out to this tackle, rush upfield a step or two, and then come underneath, and they never picked it up. Remember that stunt we used to do, Denny?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. Where's it been? I haven't seen it yet. Haven't seen that stunt. That was very, very successful for Michigan defense over the last 3 years. I don't understand where that's gone. All of a sudden, we forgot to do how to know how to stunt like that. I don't know. That's not good. All right, back to 4 under 3 deep. Flats wide open. I mean, come on. This is supposed to be the best defense in the country. This is the team that just got off beating what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 top-ranked opponents out of the last 6 weeks of last year. And all of a sudden now we are giving these kinds of plays up? That doesn't make sense to me. Let's take this a little bit further. We're going to see, we weren't in zone very much. When we were, we got torched. But we are definitely in man. Man out here. Man out here. Man out here. Who's picking him up? Should it be him or should it be him? I don't know. But both of them are confused. No communication. Confused and outflanked. And there it is, wide open. I mean, that's horrible. Denny, that is horrible, in my opinion. Okay? 3 down, 5 across. Barnum has to move out to reroute and sit Johnson away from the receivers again. There he is. Our All-American corner. While they got transfer portal receivers out here from Alabama. Does that make any sense to you, Denny?
No, I wonder if that's been Wink's philosophy the whole time to keep his corners and not move them around. I don't know. I'm just guessing. No,
Denny, remember, we saw it on the other side too. So it doesn't matter right or left. They're keeping them on our sideline. It's not about being on the right side or the left side or going with the top receiver or not. They're keeping them on our sideline. And even when there's no receivers out here, are you kidding me? That's not sound. That's not utilizing your talent the way you should be utilizing your talent. I don't care how many years of coaching you've got.
Especially if they're man-to-man, right, Jerry? Put them over there.
Hey, remember Charles Woodson? We used to get away with him taking away their best receiver. That meant 1/3 of the field was gone. Okay? Same thing we did with Johnson the last couple of years. 1/3 of the field is gone. Okay, so we got 3 down again, 5 across. Barnum has to move out, try to reroute. Okay. Johnson away from the receivers. Let's see what happens. Okay. They're asking Barnum to be Superman. That's what they're asking him to do right now. They're asking him to collide number 2 and then try to get back in here and stop the run. With one Mike linebacker. You ever see, when was the last time you saw a Michigan defense give up these kind of runs like that?
Pandemic season.
Look at that wall that they're creating. That's a Michigan wall. That's what we usually create right there. Look at this.
I take it back. K9 ran all over them in 21.
Look at this. Yeah, but that's a little bit different. That was one of the best draft choices in the draft that year. These are number 4 and 5.
Kenneth Walker's really good. I agree.
Okay, and he didn't really get started until the 3rd and 4th quarter. We had him kind of shut down there in 3rd and 4th quarter. But there, look at this. Look at this offensive tackle get up on the linebacker like that. Now, I'm going to point out a couple things. So, Scar and I both have been asking, where's Etta? Where's Brant? Okay? Here's Etta getting double teamed. Now, this is a tough thing to ask your player. You're going to ask him to take on the double team. Hopefully, this linebacker leaves his outside go. So the linebacker gets up on the lineman gets up on the tackle, gets up on a linebacker, and then he can ricochet back out and make the play. That's tough to do. That is a tough prospect to ask your tackle. But all in all, I thought Etta did pretty well here. Look at him. He's holding his ground. He's taking on a double team. Look at Brandt's punch. Look at this guy. That's not all bad. We can play with that. That's pretty good. He's fighting over the top. He's fighting pressure. That's pretty good. But we're just way out of position. Barnum is way out of position. They're asking him to do way too much. 2nd and 10, gain 13.
Yeah, what it looked like is that it's the scheme of Texas is what they're running. They could have almost any running back in there. These guys are open. What they're running is better than what Michigan's running.
Hold on, Danny. Let's see why. Okay. A little bit of a gap there, Denny?
Yeah.
A little bit of a gap. Look at all these players over here. Okay? If you're going to have all these players over here, you better be keying in so you can get some people over there. You shouldn't be blitzing, that's for sure. That tight end gets right up on Barnum. Nobody even touched him. Nobody rerouted him at all because they're too far away. Look at, he's got to play outside the wing. Nobody's on the tight end. Nobody's on the tackle. I mean, give me a break. You are asking players to do way more than they need to do. Kick out on the corner, tunnel up on the linebacker, or up on the safety. Forget the linebacker. The linebacker is blocked by a tight end who's not being challenged at all. You see it?
Yep.
Do you see what I'm talking about, Denny?
Yes, I do.
Look at this free release right here. Look at this free release. Right down on the linebacker. He's got every angle he needs. He's licking his chops. This is called an ear hole block. Now, we're still in the game. We're still in the game. It's still only 14-3. We're still in this game. but they did run the ball right down our throats that whole series. That was sad. Okay, 3rd and 2. No confidence in the run game, obviously. All short hitches. Watch this. Look at this, Denny. 5 guys, 9 guys within 5 yards of the ball. Any deep threat? Look at that. Blanketed.
They're daring him to throw deep.
They're daring him. They're daring him to throw deep. They're daring us to throw deep. Okay. Link, we got to get him better. We need to get him better. He had some issues in that game. All right.
I didn't like that pass.
No, I didn't either. I mean, well, look at where are you going to go with the ball?
I don't know.
You see anywhere to go?
No, you don't throw that one.
I don't see anywhere to go.
He had a nice pocket there too.
Line up tight and drop. And we're not getting into the zones we need to because we're so tight and we have to drop with our back to where our eyes should be in the first place.
That's a nice throw.
Oh, beautiful throw. Hey, you're not going to get a this was a huge test. You know, this might be the best team we see all year long. Don't get me wrong. Give credit where credit is due. Texas is a hell of a football team. Okay? They've got the best quarterback in the nation probably. Okay? But we made it a lot easier for him than he thought, in my opinion. Okay, so we hold him to a field goal. 2:40, 2 minutes. Good pickup, good throw. We're moving. Remember, it's only 17-3. We score here, we get the ball back at halftime, we're right in this game. You get better or you get worse. You do not stay the same. That was what Lloyd Carr always used to say. Loveland has had some issues this year. 3 drop passes and this fumble, that was big. I think he gets that first down. What do you think, Denny?
Yeah, I think he was thinking about the first down, and that was his problem. Got to secure that ball. He knows that. He beat himself up on that, and as a killer.
So now, instead of 17-10 with coming out with the ball, we're 17-3, and they got the ball back with what, a minute left?
Yeah, just under. Yeah.
Game. Flats are open all day long. Brant was not recruited to drop back in pass coverage. Poor tackling all day long.
Oof. That must not have been a fun film session.
I would hope not. But you know what? If I'm the coach, I'm beating myself up more than anybody. We had many people out of position. Way too many people out of position. We didn't look like a defending national title, defending national champion in any phase except maybe the kicking game. And I would not even say Tommy Doman because he shanked one the other day. Gave him good field position in the second half. Bottom of Big Ten stats all over the place. Tackles for loss, turnovers, sacks. Something's got to be done, Denny. I pretty much, let me see if I have anything else. Okay. Everybody wants to beat up on Warren. And yeah, he deserves some blame, no question about it. This is a pretty good throw right here. That's a pretty good throw. Now, are we saying that Warren can't throw, and that's why we're not looking downfield? I think we need to start stretching the field a little bit. Offense, we need to find out who we are. We can run the ball. We can run the ball. It's a lot easier to run the ball than pass the ball. We need to figure out who we are. Now, this is what I was talking about with the orgy package, Denny. Okay, you see where the running back's feet are? Look at his toes. They're almost at the yard line. You see that?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, this is called gap power or veer power or however you want to say it. What it is we're going to read this guy out here. Okay, but the fundamentals of this play is the running back has to go straight in line. When he goes into the line of scrimmage, it gives him an opportunity to come up and play both. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. When he steps up, he's into the line of scrimmage more. Now he can play both. Watch his step. You see where it is? From here to there. You see that, Denny?
Yeah.
That's how much closer he is now to the line of scrimmage. Number one. Number two, Al-Hadid obviously does not get the concept of this play because what he should be doing is coming right off Hinton's butt to pick up this linebacker here. Does that make sense, Denny?
Yeah, I'm going to see what he
Okay,
does.
you see it? You see that space right there? This is where Al-Hadid should be, right? But he's confused. He doesn't know. Should I pick up this guy? No, that's the read guy. You got to know that. You've got to know that. You got to know you're pulling around for this linebacker. You got nothing to do out here, okay? The last thing, orgy. When you're running this play, you want to stretch it. You got to make this guy commit. You've got to make the read guy commit one way or the other, okay? But when he doesn't move, it allows their All-American to play both. He can play both. The back is into the line of scrimmage too much. The quarterback doesn't ride along enough. The guard doesn't get up tight enough. We don't know how to run this play. This is an orgy package. You should be solid on how to run that play, on how to run that package. It's not hard. I see the high school teams do it all the time. It's not a hard package to run, okay? But obviously we didn't do enough homework in the offseason to figure out how to run it.
Yeah, that's got to be fundamental if you've got orgy in there. That particular play, that wasn't some wild, let's do a bunch of different things. That's just kind of like on the first page of the playbook.
One of the first plays, if you're going to run a quarterback like this, that's the play you run. That's one of the first plays because that sets up a whole lot of other plays too. Okay, and we don't know how to run it fundamentally. We made 3 huge fundamental mistakes on the same play. That's not good.
No. Hey, oh man, you got more
flats and crossings all day long. I'm done, Denny. I think I'm done. Yeah,
Jerry. That was
flats and crossings.
I'm ready for tomorrow. Actually, I'm ready for tonight's game in Kansas State, Arizona. Jerry, Link had a hard time out there at right tackle. Would you give him – it looks like they're going to go with him tomorrow. They are going to go with him. Fine. They think he's the best option out there at right tackle. Are you going to give him some help in passing situation? Because he had a real rough time against Texas. Or are you thinking, hey, it's Arkansas State. You know, let's see how he bounces back. Or what are you thinking about there?
With
Link,
with
the right tackle, he had a
Link?
tough time in pass protection. He didn't grade out very well.
No, he didn't. He definitely has to get better. Denny, I said this a few weeks ago. Either we had guys lose positions or we had guys win positions. Right now, I'm tending to think we had guys lose positions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, here, Jerry, this is the comeback for people that are just watching. JT is asking about Tuttle fitting into the equation. So you had Warren, we've seen Orgy, Tuttle. Does he have to do it he was back on Monday. Sharon Moore said he's good to go. So can you, I guess he would be a third string quarterback. I don't know what kind of reps he's taking. Would there be any chance that you're thinking about didn't play in spring ball? I don't know if he practiced at all during fall camp, and now he's good to go. Are you thinking about let's insert him? So does he got to do it in practice first? What are your thoughts here?
I like I said, I think I think I'm leaning more towards our guys that are on the field right now.
Yeah.
One positions because other people lost them. I'm liking Gaidis. I think he's doing well. He had that one big bad play against Fresno that everybody pointed out, and I thought that was a bad play call, anyways. So I thought Gaidis is coming along. He's doing pretty decent. Ahadi, I'm not crazy about the technique he's being taught on his polls. But overall, he does a pretty decent job. Link, I just don't know if we have anybody behind him that's going to do any better.
Final question for you. CFADC asked you, if you were an advisor to the Michigan football program, what would you tell the OC and DC heading into tomorrow?
I'd say to the DC to call Jesse Menner and Matt McDonald and see what they did on defense the last 3 years for Michigan, because he's basically got the same personnel. On offense, you gotta thin down the playbook. You got to get some stretching passes out there. Even if you tell them to overthrow it, we got to threaten them. You got to have something to go deep, and we got to really work our run game. That's what we're going to live and die on this year.
Well, right. So we'll see if they take some strides in both of those areas tomorrow. And then it's USC week. So always great college football Saturday. Michigan needs to put their best foot forward to get ready for USC week. Jerry, you put your best foot forward on the telestrator. Great job. Even if it was hard to watch at times, it was educational. Hopefully next time it'll be more entertaining. It's not as entertaining when, the burnt orange is like running up and down the field, as you know. So great job, Jerry.
Hail to the victors, Denny. I'm keeping the faith, but we got to get back to the fundamentals, and I'm talking about the coaching staff.
There he is, Jerry Diorio. Smash that like button, and we want to get that. Want to get to that 5K.